It's called Dear You, and I've definitely name dropped it a couple of times, so that's why I'm saying it again on here. But we've shot the music video before I went to India, and we did shoot another day of the music video, but unfortunately, you as a podcaster and an editor would know the hassles of SD cards, but somehow the SD card got damaged. So that project is I know, the look on your face. Exactly. It was horrible. That SD card got damaged, and unfortunately, we don't have any of that footage, so it is a little delayed than I expected, but it's coming. And it's honestly, this song is about just evolving. Ironically, it's about evolving, accepting your past mistakes, and just realizing that sometimes we fuck up and it's okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creativity Worth Expressing. I'm your host, Ryan Anthony Hernandez, and today we have a special guest. She is a music artist. Please welcome to the show, Div. Div, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Hello, thank you so much. I'm doing great. I'm very excited to be here and talk to you about music and everything music related. So, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on the podcast, and I see that you not only love music, but you've also created your own music. You've written, produced your own stuff. That's a lot of work. But my question for you to get this started is, when did your love for music and creativity in general, what sparked it?
That's a very introspective question. I love that. I would say a lot of people in my family are definitely very, very creative, whether that be visual, painting, music, and just overall just bringing it in daily life. A lot of my family is very creative, especially my grandfather. He was a painter. And how I got into music was this is a very specific example, but a lot of you probably know the song Plastic Bag by Katy Perry, or I think it's Fireworks, I'm not sure, but I remember watching it when I was around like 7 years old. And I remember being so inspired because in that music video, particularly, she inspires others with her music and just kind of tells them to be free. So that was one of my earliest memories of how I got inspired to make music. But I've been writing my own music since I was around 13, so pretty young. And it's just been such a big part of my life ever since then. So I feel like my support system is also very, very nice because of lots of people in my family that do music. So that's just where it stems from. I guess it's in my blood, or I would like to think that it is.
So you said that your grandfather was a painter. Did
He was.
that ever cross your mind, like, maybe I can do painting or singing?
I actually do paint on the side. I guess I see it more of a hobby. I've never seen it as something that I want to pursue in life as a career. But I do paint for sure, and I remember showing him a lot of my paintings. So yeah, that painting visually is definitely a big part of my life too.
Awesome. So you said that when you were 13, you first started to write your own songs. Did you only write the lyrics, or in your mind were you already were you already including the music in your head as you were writing?
I definitely already accompanied it with music, yeah, for sure. I guess a lot of producers that I've worked with, or just other artists that I've worked with, they write the lyrics first, and then they kind of see what fits best melody wise. Whereas I just kind of randomly, and this has happened before, I just wake up with a tune in my head, and I'm just like, you know what, that would sound really good. So I definitely have lyrics that fit with a specific melody.
So at 13 years old, you already had I guess the willingness to put it on paper, to write it down. But many kids or teenagers they might have a dream or an ambition, but then it fades away. But we see with you, it didn't fade away. You made stuff. You put stuff out there. What was it that kept you going?
Wow, that's a great question that I've never thought of. I think I always imagined myself being, having music in my life in a very career oriented way. Like I don't imagine myself doing anything else. And it's definitely one of the many harder paths in life that you can take, especially being from a South Asian family. it's kind of like, okay, you leave the arts on the side and you just kind of focus on something that can settle you down and, give you security. So me taking music as a path, or definitely just showing my interest in it, was big in my family. And what kept me going was the support, for sure. No one has ever, like, around me and my family, my friends, no one has ever said, hey, let's be realistic, They've definitely told me to be smart about it and have a source of income before music becomes your income. But the support system is definitely what kept me going, and just the love of it. Just hearing music makes me feel so good, and I hope to one day make people feel as good as I do.
So when you hear music, it makes you feel good. What will people encounter when they hear your music for the first time? Is it gonna make them happy? Is it gonna make them think? Can you share with us what do you think it's gonna make them feel?
I think a lot of my music is genuinely very sad. It speaks about, because that's what I do. It's an outlet, and it's my way of taking out my feelings, and it's therapeutic in a way. So it's definitely something that people will listen to and think, it'll make them think about things. But I think after I'm coming back from a trip about a month in India after 10 years. So I feel like now I listen to a lot of my music and I'm like, huh, I can definitely do better. That's what's going on in my head right now. So I was working on a project before I went to India, and now I listen to it. I'm just like, whoo, maybe we need to work on this a little more before I put it out into the world? So I feel like people will definitely hear my music and realize that I am still learning and finding my own voice. But some people might add it to their playlist, and I think some of it is a vibe, so they should definitely listen.
So you spent a month in India, and then when you came back, is that when you thought to yourself, this could be better?
Yes, for sure. That's exactly what happened. I came back and I listened to a lot of it. And even in India, I guess many of your viewers probably know that TikTok is banned. So I definitely spent less time on the promoting side of it. I wasn't as focused on how people are perceiving me. So I was looking at a lot of my own music, and I was just like, I definitely have, so much room to grow. And yeah, that was basically it. I came back and I was like, I can do way better, and I can put lot more of myself into my music.
How do you do that? Put more of yourself into your music.
Oh God, I should be asking you the same question. I have it's hard because a lot of Indian music where I'm from is definitely more training based.
Mm.
A lot of Indian musicians, they are classically trained since they were before they were able to talk. They were doing music, they were speaking music. So I feel like bringing it in, I feel like an amateur sometimes, realistically, because I don't want people to listen to it and be like, "Ooh, she does not know what she's doing." So bringing your roots in is very difficult, but I feel like a lot more people are doing fusion music, which is something that I'm gravitating towards. So I definitely feel a little more confident to do it. It's just, I guess, writing lyrics in your own language is a way to bring it in, and just certain elements from Hindustani music that you can bring in. Yeah.
And for you, what would you say is more important for you or holds more weight? Is it the lyrics, the words, or is it
Mhm.
the actual sound?
I think I'm definitely more lyric heavy. The lyrics hold a lot more meaning for me, which I feel like could be a disadvantage at times because you know what the lyrics mean to you as an artist, but then to the listener, to the viewer, it's up to interpretation? So you kind of have to make them not hyper specific, because I feel like that doesn't work because people don't know that guy that you saw in the
Yeah.
street 2 weeks ago. Like, they don't know who you're talking about. So I guess you have to make it more general and vague. But for me, it's definitely more lyric heavy.
And are you doing all this by yourself, or do you have a team that's helping you write, produce, and do all this stuff?
Oh, Mr. Ryan, I wish I had a team.
Huh?
I wish I had a team. Actually, it's kind of fun doing it all by yourself. It's definitely, you would know as a creative, it's definitely hard to do it all by yourself, but it's also rewarding in a sense, because you look back if you finished a project and you're like, wow, I did every part of that myself. But I definitely am working as my budget increases and I have more time and money to give to music. I am hiring like producers, mixing engineers, which I feel like just up the level of products that comes out at the end of the day because music is very technical and it has to sound radio ready. You know, as much as the idea sounds great in my head, I for it to actually appeal to people, I need to make it sound professional. And I don't think I'm a professional in mixing and mastering music, so I definitely hire someone for that.
And so it can be very difficult, especially doing it by yourself, but you're still going. You're still like you have your vision. During this time of, of working at this craft, what have been some either obstacles or challenges that you've had to overcome?
Ooh, do we have like 3 hours? um, Definitely a first one that I've noticed for myself personally is I do get distracted very easily. I could be working on a project, starting it, being, you know, one fourth of the way through, and I'll come up with another melody in my head, which I feel like, you know, the best works always circle back to you in some way. So it's not like a lost cause, but I do feel like I have trouble just honing in on one thing and focusing. But other than that, technically, learning the mixing mastering, like I said, is huge. Like it's a huge portion of actually making your own music and promoting it, as you know, on TikTok. Music is popping, new music is being discovered from there every single day, so promoting it in a way that doesn't feel cheap, you know, and isn't like, oh, please listen to my music, because you never want to do that. I
Yeah.
personally never want to do that. It's really up to the listeners. So promotion and learning all the technical skills really is two of the biggest challenges, I would say, for me.
So what is your, okay, what are the steps to making a song from start to finish?
Oh, this is my favorite question. I definitely sometimes, as I said before, I do just wake up with a melody in my head. If not, I'll be, you know, in the shower doing some mundane task and I'll just come up with something. So, first step is definitely recording it. Just, you know, in a voice memo, nothing professional, just remembering the idea, basically. So I do that. I have a lot of unfinished voice memos in my recordings. So I'll do that first, and then second step, I would say, is just writing it in my voice memos. The number one thing I have on me at all times is my phone, so I'll write it in my notes. And then I do actually love the feeling of writing it physically, so I'll do that if I have time. And then if I feel like a project has potential to grow, you know, or if I can think of a chorus to accompany the verse that I wrote beforehand, like 2 days ago, I will write out more. And very rarely, actually, less than I would like, I would actually sit down and write the whole song, you know? Um, but I feel like that's also an acquired skill that I do have to work on. But if I feel like the project has potential, I'll sit down and write it. And then I'll lay down some chords, or I have Splice, which a lot of musicians probably know, and you know as well. But it's just you can like loop in sound effects and stuff. So I use that for a lot of inspiration, you know, just finding something in the same key as my music, and I'll just try to build the idea that I have in my head. And lately, I do, as I say, have an increasingly bigger budget. So I am trying to put more of that into visuals because I feel like people should be able to see what it's like in my head. And I want to make that happen through visuals. So the last step would be planning visuals, planning a music video, even like a 30-second reel or something.
Okay, and how has that been making music videos or visuals? Are you also directing it or is it like walk us through that?
Yeah, for sure. That's honestly my favorite part of the entire journey, like maybe a song or something. Um, I only have one music video out for my song Somebody's First, and that came out in, I believe, June of 2025, so very recently. And that was my first experience with a music video. I did shoot one for the single that came out in 2020, but I decided that I didn't resonate with that song anymore, so I left that. But finding a good production company, which is what I did for Somebody's First, they were amazing. They're called Junk Flower Films, and they just really knew how to match visions, you know, and they were patient. So I feel like finding a team that is ready to listen to what you want to do, because after all, at the end of the day, you are the artist, you know, it's your vision, it's your song. Um, and for that project, actually, it was a pretty long process. I hired a dancer. We rented out a studio and we had some ideas. I kind of gave them full creative autonomy. You know, I was just like, I have the final scene in mind and I have a very good vision for it. Other than that, everything is up to you. Which now, if I'm making a music video, I would definitely change that because I feel like now I watch that music video and I don't really resonate with it.
Mhm.
I feel like I could have visualized the song in a different way, more personal to me. But it was a learning curve. So that was definitely a journey. But I had a watch party towards the end too, with a couple of my friends and family. So it felt nice to be celebrated after all that work for sure.
Cool. So you do all of this, you start by you have the tune in your head, you record it. How many voice memos or voice like recordings do you have?
Oof. I think definitely in the thousands.
Wow, so you have a lot of work to do. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
A lot of songs, a lot of unfinished songs. And to be honest, you know, some of them are just melodies that I might someday revisit. But yes, like maybe I would say 10 out of 2000 maybe make it out and become an actual song.
Okay, and so from there you start writing the lyrics, and starts coming together, and then you make the video, you have the music. Like how like is there a website that you put it on? Do you put it on YouTube, SoundCloud? How does that work?
Oh, I actually use DistroKid as a distributor. So they not do all the work for you, but definitely makes it way more easier. It's a subscription based distributor, so I use them. And then they put it out on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, regular YouTube as an audio, basically everything. I also separately upload it on SoundCloud just because I know there's a large amount of people that listen to music on SoundCloud still, and they find new artists. Like, for example, Billie Eilish was just discovered that way. So I definitely make sure to put it on SoundCloud. But yeah, all the major streaming platforms.
Is there a specific platform where you would suggest people listen to your stuff?
Spotify for sure. If they want to see the visuals, YouTube, and if you are a heavy Spotify user, then Spotify for sure. My entire discography is on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So audience, go follow her either on Spotify or on YouTube or all of that cool places. My next
Thank
question
you.
for you is because you mentioned that you have had people help you with like the music video, the visuals. My question for you is, have you worked with someone else? Have you collaborated?
Yes, actually, I have collaborated. That project hasn't come out yet. I think it's a little delayed. I'm not I'm not really in touch with the person anymore, but it was my first collaboration because I feel like I don't know if I'm going about this the wrong way, but I definitely want to create an image for myself first before I collaborate with people, you know? Because sometimes one single collaboration can entirely change the scope of how people view you, you know? And you want to make sure you collaborate with the right people. So that collaboration was definitely very interesting because he was a rap heavy artist. Um, and his flow was amazing. I personally love listening to rap music, but I can't rap for shit. I can try, but I feel like in the beginning I would sound very stupid. But I feel like I got it. If I tried, I got it.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah, I have a friend. She's always telling me, Ryan, we should do a freestyle. Let's get on your podcast and do a freestyle. I'm like, girl, like hell no, like
get
no
out of my
way. Yeah, like you can do it. I ain't gonna do that. But
no.
it's a skill that if the thing is with creativity, I think it's okay to recognize where one is good at and to allow that to kind of bloom.
Exactly, exactly. I feel like just putting your eggs in every basket is not going to work. So I let the rapping be done by other people, and I did, you know, a singing vocal verse on two of his songs. and it was so fun because he was putting in his input on how he wanted it to sound, because the beat was produced by him, so it was his song that I was just being featured on. But it was a great experience. You're reminding me of this person that I should hit up and be like, where's the project, dude? But when that comes out, I will definitely let you know.
Yeah, so we'll and the audience also can stay tuned.
Yes, please. And there are things coming.
So my next question for you
Yeah.
is, well, you're still, I guess, would you say that you're still in the beginning of your career or in the middle, or where do you think you are in terms of music?
Oh, definitely the beginning. I don't like, if this was the beginning, I'm like over here.
You're okay.
Which is exciting. But I feel like I need to step it up, just get the ball rolling. I feel like I have sprouts of just times where I'll deeply focus and, perform every week. Before my month-long trip, I was actually performing a lot. And I feel like I just want to get back into that habit, of just building confidence on stage and building a fan base and just focusing on the music and not really growing, if that makes sense. Like I'm not focused on promoting myself and why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Like I want to make sure I like what I make first and then make other people like it.
And how do you see yourself, since it's still kind of the beginning? How do you see yourself evolving? Because I'm excited. I mean, you have such a good energy, and I can't wait to see you. Like,
Thank you. I hope
yes.
I hope that happens very soon. Um, I see myself evolving just by being curious, and learning from other artists, learning from new places. And Tiny Desk is definitely one of my goals. I'm saying it on your podcast first, but Tiny Desk is one of my goals. Um, yeah, I don't know. I never watched the Grammys. Like, I don't know. I feel like I watched it maybe 5 years ago, and that too, maybe a snippet of like my favorite artist, but that's a goal. Um, Not getting one, just being there. Just,
Yeah.
getting one, obviously. But I feel like awards don't have that much of a weight as long as you know what you're making and you like what you're making. But just being in that general aura of just music and having music be a part of my life is just something that I look forward to.
Is
Yeah.
there anyone who you wouldn't mind collaborating with in the future?
Ooh. I feel like my favorite artist would be different than my dream collaboration, because my favorite artist is, I would say, in Western music, Adele, for sure. Her voice is just absolutely amazing. But I don't see us collaborating because our styles are very different in a way that would, like, mesh if I ever got to that level, which I will.
Yeah.
But I feel like Leon Thomas has a very specific sound, and I made a duet reel with one of his like newer songs, and he had, the rap flow going, like the slow vocals, and then I added something onto it and I loved how it sounded. And I posted that as well, so check it out. But yeah, his music, I feel like that would be a really cool collaboration.
Excellent. So, hey, Div, thank you so much for sharing about your beginnings and
Yeah,
how you have been evolving and how you see yourself continue to evolve. Best of luck.
thank
But
you.
my next question for you is, are there any upcoming projects that you have where people in the audience can look forward to?
Yes, I actually do. There's one song called, it's a single. It's called Dear You. And I've definitely name dropped it a couple of times, so that's why I'm saying it again on here. But we've shot the music video before I went to India, and we did shoot another day of the music video, but unfortunately, you as a podcaster and an editor would know the hassles of SD cards, but somehow the SD card got damaged. So that project I know, the look on your face. Exactly. It was horrible. That SD card got damaged, and unfortunately, we don't have any of that footage, so it is a little delayed than I expected, but it's coming. And it's honestly, this song is about just evolving. Ironically, it's about evolving, accepting your past mistakes, and just realizing that sometimes we fuck up and it's okay.
Well, are there any other artists out there, creatives, whom you suggest we keep an eye out for?
Yes, actually, when I talked about fusion music, I feel like I've seen this woman on my feed so many times, and her brand identity, like she is out there. Her name is Shreya Kaul. I think I'm pronouncing that right, but she's also a Desi artist and she does fusion music and her visuals are insane. Like that's the level of visuals that I want to be on. So definitely, I mean, she has a fan base, but if you guys haven't heard her music and you like fusion music, check it out. Amazing.
Awesome. And now I have my last question. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
The question that I ask everybody is, Div, why is creativity important for you?
I feel like I would be nowhere without creativity. It's, I every day I have my AirPods in my head. I'm looking at the world through this creative lens, and I feel like I wouldn't be as happy of a person as I am if I didn't have creativity, music, art. And I feel like, the basic things, being a doctor, saving lives, eating, drinking, like making houses, we need that to live. But I feel like to actually live, we definitely need creativity. And I don't think people realize how much of freedom it gives us. I feel like it's just, we would be nothing without it. So that's how I feel about creativity.
Well, thank you so much for sharing and for sharing your journey in this world of creativity. For those in the audience, go check out Div. You can find her on Spotify, YouTube, on TikTok, SoundCloud. I don't know. Am I forgetting anything? Do you have like a website or anywhere, anything else?
No, you're not forgetting anything. Just for the TikTok users, it's div_sings. But yeah, everything else you shouted it out for me.
All right, so go check her out. And if you are listening to this on Spotify, please leave a review. Feel free to leave a comment. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and please share this episode so that other people may encounter the awesome talent from our guest today, Div. And you can also help me out in a special way if you would like to by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/truth that H7. All your help all your contribution helps me to keep this podcast going so that I can upload it onto Spotify, YouTube. So again, Div, thank you so much for being an awesome guest on Creativity
Thank
Worth
you.
Expressing.
I will be buying one of those cups.